Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville is probably the most controversial game in the entire series. There are much, much worse games, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't call that a controversial statement. I will say that it is the last PvZ game they've released that evokes any form of emotion from me other than complete apathy. Not very good emotions most of the time. But why is Neighborville so controversial? Is it because of the removal of the seagull that gives you rainbow stars in the town hall? Or is it because they took the variants out back and shot them? Blasted Captain Squawk right between the eyes, walloped the jade cactus on the back of the head with a crowbar, because I guess the variants wouldn't be compatible with the Fortnite item shop skins and the battle pass. Collect my rainbow stars and my bulbs. I want to throw bricks at this gnome. They call him Wingding because he's about to be shattered across the bloody ground. Instead of variants, they have this upgrade system thing, which is like, okay man, but how am I supposed to tell if this pea shooter has the upgrade that gives him infinite hyper, or the upgrade that makes pea cannon randomly deal 90 damage, or both? Is a shame because some of these costumes are really good. Like, we could have gotten the Night Pea variant, or the Crime Soldier, or the Yellow Cactus. I know the idea was to make your own variants, but look how that turned out last time. But hey, you know, without variants, the game's more fair and balanced, right? I think I miss Electro Pea. So like I did with Garden Warfare, I'm going to rank all the characters in this game. And yes, I do know it wants to be this unique and innovative Overwatch thing, and it's trying to distance itself from its more successful older siblings, and I shouldn't compare this PvZ shooter game to these PvZ shooter games, because it's different. It's just not though, is it? Just ripped the entire character roster from Garden Warfare, including most of the enemies and the sound effects. Except for a couple characters though, like, what did you do to the cactus? Why does she sound like a bloody Deltarune character? But this video ain't gonna be entirely negative. Couple good changes dotted around, like decorating your plain bland ass vanilla ice cream with a couple of rainbow sprinkles and a 99p flake. Like, they removed the torchwood from the character selection screen. Let's not judge this game too harshly.
Spider-Man was a hero.
Unlike the previous, somewhat flawed system I used in the Garden Warfare rankings, I'm going to be the unique and different one, and just not even bother to have a ranking system. Because firstly, I think the tolerability score alone would put half of the characters in this in the negatives. And secondly, I think it would be funnier if I just ranked them based on how much I like them, not how good they are in the Battle for Neighborville metagame. Sorry, I won't be talking about the competitive viability of the electric slide, but it's just gonna be based on how much I like them. Also, I will be counting the legendary upgrades separately, since those are basically this game's stand-in for variants, even though there are 4 of them. Also, I will be playing on the PlayStation 4 version of BFN, mostly because I have everything unlocked on that one, and the PC version I bought for £2 is a barren wasteland, and when I launch it, my computer sounds like it's about to wipe out my entire postcode in a catastrophic explosion. And I'm not buying the Switch version. I know it's the complete edition, which is really funny that they're basically calling all the other versions incomplete. But if that game so much as touches Pikmin, I will kill you. And before you all go down in the comments and say, "Oh, you're just a Garden Warfare elitist. You probably haven't even played the game that much." Firstly, if you've watched these other videos, you'll know I wasn't exactly the nicest to some of the characters in that game. And secondly, I max rank in this game.
I saw the birth of the universe, and I watched as time ran out. Moment by moment until nothing remained. No time, no space. Just me. I walked in universes where the laws of physics were devised by the mind of a madman. And I watched universes freeze and creations burn. wouldn't believe. I have lost things you will never understand. And I know things, secrets that must never be told, knowledge that must never be spoken, knowledge that will make Parasite God's place. So come on then, take it all, baby, have it, you have it all.
So what is the bottom of the barrel? The underside of the barrel. A barrel that has been pushed overboard into the ocean and now has scum and algae growing all over it. Which one of these plants or zombies have been butchered the most by the cruel hands of PopCap Games? Citron. If Battle for Neighborville Citron was in the Garden Warfare 2 ranking video, then he would get a tolerability score of -96. Playing against this character is like trying to play against a gamma ray burst. This character is genuinely one of the most absurdly overpowered things I have ever seen in one of these games. A 200 health tank that can instantly turn into a tiny little ball with the fastest movement speed in the entire game, that at any point can just summon a 600 HP shield and only takes about 5 seconds to fully regenerate all of its health because of these fucking upgrades. Oh my god. Speaking of upgrades, Peach has an upgrade that makes this stun last for 3 entire seconds. Oh, and look who's the character with the highest damage output in the game. And if you somehow survive being stunned and gunned and actually manage to deal damage to it, oh well, bye-bye. You can guarantee that bastard is running away immediately. You are not getting that kill. You could run away with Citron in Garden Warfare 2, but with BFN's higher overall time to kill and that giant shield that also regenerates in about 5 seconds, just don't bother. And if you even consider to try and pursue it, you are guaranteed being jumped by about 5 unrelated AI bots, because that was a thing they added to the game, wasn't it? Uh-oh, most people are just dawdling around yelling slurs at each other in Giddy Park. Let's add another reason to not touch the multiplayer portal. I like how you can instantly tell the bots apart from the players because every single player in this game just books it immediately upon taking 5 points of damage. I like how you can also instantly tell when there's a Grandmaster 5 Citron on the enemy team because they're just doing some stupid hog swivel like this. He's just shooting through a bloody boulder. Like, genuinely, just don't even bother if a somewhat competent Citron shows up. There's just nothing you can do about it. Unless you're with a group of people or you're just super ultra cracked at hitting BFN clips. I hadn't touched this game in about 3 years, and the first thing I see upon going into Giddy Park is a Grandmaster 5 Citron with the bloody gnome panel boost. I'd say I was shocked and appalled, but that's like going into a bakery and being surprised when you find bread. It also pretty much just hard counters almost every character in the game getting shot at. Don't worry about it, mate. I'll just whip out me giant 600 HP shield. Uh-oh, I don't have any ammo left. Oh, right, he gets ammo back from having his shield take damage. Because why wouldn't he have that? Oh, and he also has a chomp finger spray damage, trapezium or whatever, that makes him deal even more damage up close. Because why wouldn't he have that? A spray that has a range of 9 meters, which is 2 meters longer than the range of the chemist. Because why wouldn't he have that? He does even more damage than the fucking Z-Mech. Because why wouldn't he have that? Speaking of which, when you Peach a Z-Mech, it just removes a third of their duration. Because why wouldn't he do that? Oh, and don't forget that he has the fastest sprinting speed out of anything in the game. Because why wouldn't he have that? He also can't take any critical damage while sprinting. He can freely change directions whenever without cancelling it, which is something that no other plant can do. Because why wouldn't he have that? Was someone on the development team being held at gunpoint by a Citron self-shipper whilst making this game or something? Developers snuck in their OC when no one was looking. He has a trick up his sleeve for every zombie in the game, and that trick is either pulling up the shield, EM Peach, or leaving. He's like the Batman of BFN, except the only prep time he needs is waiting for that fucking Peach to come off cooldown. I genuinely think that one-on-one, the only character that even stands a sliver of a chance at killing a Citron in a 1v1 is the All-Star. Most other characters just get obliterated, especially imps. Is just not fair. They just get ran over instantly because they buffed Spin Dash to do 75 damage. Because why wouldn't he do that? They just roll up, stun you, and drop you in under 2 seconds. Again, they could do that in Garden Warfare 2, but firstly, in that game, EM Peach has double the cooldown, only reduces your speed by 20% instead of 66%, and it doesn't get an upgrade that makes EM Peach stun you for twice as long. It's weird that they even kept this ability in the game. They nerfed most of the stun abilities in this one, but buffed the EM Peach, and even gave it an upgrade that makes it stronger. They do that a lot in this game. They'll just remove some Garden Warfare cheese just to add it back in an upgrade. Oh, Huscott was a bit stupidly obscene, so we've made it take a bit longer to explode to give you time to react. Unless you just use this upgrade that just adds it back. Oh, Time Snare was really annoying, wasn't it? Rose having 2 stuns. But don't worry, for the low price of 3 upgrade points, we'll just add it to your fucking primary weapon. Why would they even conceive of that? Remember in Launch Garden Warfare 2 when Turbo Twister just sucked you in and killed you? 2 upgrade points! I do think the upgrade system in this game is pretty neat. Nowhere near as good as Variants, but it's alright, I guess. But it does have the issue where now it makes almost every character in the game able to do some stupid asinine thing. Why does Citron get an upgrade that makes running away even easier? Anyway, even if the Citron isn't a BFN esports champion, they're still obnoxious as hell to fight half the time, because this game's janky as hell. Garden Warfare wasn't the most polished game by a long shot, but BFN makes Garden Warfare look like the floors of the Sistine Chapel. Like Super Brains, just punch over the shield, man. It's not that hard. The only saving grace is that it's pretty much the best character to use against the Brainium Basher, who we will be talking about very shortly, because they can't really do anything to you if you just hold the shield up, which is funny to just stand there and mess with them. But of course, if I try and be an annoying prick, the Lord above makes an example of me by spawning some random unsolicited foot soldier and scientist in to ruin it.
I don't want you here, and I don't want you here. I'm stuck with you.
Or sometimes the game will just let them hit you. I don't know, man. Also, during this game's update cycle, every single update, they would add some small buff to this thing. Yes, as in they would make it even more powerful. Every update was just, we've removed the gives you free XP glitch, but the I'm going to fucking delete you from the game glitch remains forever. We're also nerfing the imp for some reason, and we've buffed the Citron to have more damage, as we felt that there were too many people left on the game. I don't know who at PopCat was clamoring to make EM Peach cancel basically every single ability, but
Get me in a room with him.
also, this redesign he got, why does he look like he'd be in the sofa with a numberjacks? Doesn't help that some of the other plants in this game have the same facial structure as the fucking spooky spoon. Should call in the number taker to take some numbers away from this thing's 600 health shield. This thing makes Garden Warfare Electro Peas and Super Commandos feel like sitting on the beach on a warm summer evening sipping an ice-cold beverage. At least you can actually reliably kill them without doing a long extended Looney Tunes chase sequence for 5 minutes just for them to turn around and lob a peach at you and spam about 17 emotes on your rotting carcass. Never have seen a character that gives you the full Elmer Fudd experience like this one does. Least favorite character in the entire series. If they overtune this thing any more, then I think I'd go deaf. But before we move on, here's something positive. I like this emote that he has, where Citron's limbs are slowly torn off and he collapses into a pile of his own flesh while still conscious. That makes me really happy. May 26, 2020. The day Neighborville fries. This is the turning point of Neighborville updates. Before this, with a couple exceptions, the updates were mostly pretty solid at improving and fixing the genuinely horrific state this game was in when it first released. But starting from this update, I think they just lost it. They just started doing the most random stupid shit that only accomplished adding nails into the coffin of this game. People always say, oh, you know, BFN had so much potential, guys, it just needed a few more updates and it would have been good. But some of the changes in this update straight up made the game worse. Added AI backfill into multiplayer. Last Ditch has been buffed. Grody Goop has been buffed to do about 90 damage over time. Increased the sprinting speed. Obligatory random ass Citron buff. And an obligatory random ass imp nerf. And of course, added a new legendary upgrade in the June prize map. The Brainium Basher. This is the most obnoxious thing they've ever added into a PvZ shooter. Like, Citron might be almost uncounterable, but Brainium Basher is just a culmination of so many stupid decisions. Why does this thing exist? The legendary upgrade system seemed like a punishment. Everyone was begging for them to add variants back. Did they bring out the monkey's paw or something? It's a 175 health character that can fly across the entire map easily in seconds and just instantly kills most of the plant character roster with very little effort. Not only that, but in this update they changed the Typhoon upgrade to just make you unable to escape it. Unless you use some specific abilities only a few characters have. Guess who's one of those characters, by the way? Then you will probably just die to this. So this thing can just instantly fly over to you, pull you in, and just kill you. It's like they spent years in a lab concocting the most specialized set of abhorrent game mechanics, specifically designed to make you want to throw your controller into a skip. Fighting this character is like fighting a slot machine. Sometimes it'll just go through you and deal no damage at all. Sometimes he'll donk his stupid empty skull on your shield, and other times it'll quite visually not hit you at all and yet still kill you immediately. Or it will just phase through your shield and also instantly kill you. This character just doesn't fundamentally work because the hit registration of this game is about as consistent as quantum mechanics. I tried to fly to this oak and immediately kill some random bystander acorn by accident. They basically added drunk driving to the game, but instead of driving a car, you're driving a nuclear warhead. In multiplayer, this thing isn't really that good. Like, yeah, it's still annoying as hell, but not only does it often just get shot out of the sky by the anti-airplane fucking AI bots, but it also doesn't get this stupid gnome thing. This character's entire niche is just bullying people in Giddy Park. That's all it does. Which sucks, because despite its glaring flaws, it's probably the best new addition in this game. Just a way to dilly-dally around with random people online with no objective. You can find some real specimens in there. It's really entertaining. But most of the time it just gets turned into a boring snooze fest where one team spawn camps the other, and most Giddy Park servers will just be a bunch of plants being pulverized into fine paste the instant they set foot on those damn launchers. Go on BFN right now, and there is a solid 80% chance that if you glance into Giddy Park, you'll see one of these knobs flying overhead. Like, look at this lobby. 2 Brainiums, a flying 80s action hero, a scientist with the gnome boost. Yeah, I don't know, Cactus. Maybe you should have just stayed in bed today. No Ferris wheel rides for you. Sometimes you'll just be having a nice conversation with the local chomper, but no fun allowed in the greasy body odor 9000's lobby. The worst thing is that they added a mechanic in this mode where you can get a permanent damage and damage resistance buff by going around and pressing a button on all of these panels, which turns the Brainium from a 175 health character that can one-shot half the roster to a 218 health character that can one-shot half the roster and two-shot the rest of them. And 218 is a lot of health when the strongest character in this game has the same damage output as the fucking Scallywag Imp. And that bastard is an outlier. The next plant down is getting out-damaged by Captain Squawk. You literally just ran fucking circles around me. This game is a fucking humiliation ritual. I hate it! Would have loved to have used Huskop on him, but guess what I had to use that on? Half the time they just sit on this fuck-ass Ferris wheel like a pigeon on the roof of a Greg's, waiting for some breadcrumbs to fall off of someone's sausage roll, and swooping on down. This thing is almost always the designated, I want this guy killed character that people pick when they want this guy killed. You know you've ruined someone's day when they bring out the BB. Like, this All-Star gets utterly humiliated after I put a spikeweed under the Giddy Park launcher, and wouldn't you know it, instantly swapped to Brainium Basher. People used to and still do this a lot with the Hot Rod Chomper, which is also a really fast character that can one-shot you. But this is like if the Hot Rod Chomper could fly around, reach you anywhere on the map, had 175 health, and had an ability that drags you towards its burrow. Speaking of burrow, if you have that fucking stupid Turbo Twister upgrade on, you can just ignore it. Like, it just unburrows chompers. Would have been a really, really funny counter to this stupid character, but no. This particular Brainium stepped on one mine, as in he died to me one single time, which apparently pissed him off to such an extent that he immediately got the fucking the gnome boost and started spawn camping me and spamming emotes on my body when I got killed by other people. Not my fault you weren't looking where you were going. Instead of going after those gnome panels, maybe you should go after an appointment at the opticians. I'm checking the footage back, and apparently this random all-star was part of his group being fucking gang-stalked in Giddy Park. A full coordinated assassination attempt just for this random imp to kill me more times than him. He literally started getting in the imp's face so I would see his fucking stupid cat emoji. That's what I love about this area. You can just clip farm weird people. Finding an ill-tempered Brainium is like finding 10 quid on the floor. Obviously I wasn't intentionally dying to them. I don't really think I could have done anything about it. Like, there was the Brainium, there was an all-star, and the iconic random dinosaur imp. Not even the Tron stood a chance. I'm out of there. The only reason this character is put above Citron is because there's a lot of counterplay to a Brainium Basher. Still, the 18th time of minding my own business before hearing a jet engine noise and dying instantly whilst I'm fighting someone else makes me want to stop playing the game. I guarantee that there would be more players on this game if this thing was never added. Characters so ass that it probably removed an entire digit from the player count. When I played as him, I literally apologized on the results screen with the emote system because I felt bad. Sorry, little chomper, but Purple Zombie needs his content. Nothing personal. Speaking of this emote system, which, don't get me wrong, amazing addition. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that having my ribs shattered and instantly hit with a PNG of dung on my screen for the 4th time didn't make me want to dropkick my Battle for Neighborville disc onto a busy motorway. And yes, I know getting tilted at being called a poopy head by the mean super brains is a bit pathetic, but it's just a cherry on top of a pile of not even slop, like it's just a pile of like dissolved cardboard that's been left out in the rain. That's how I describe this game. Also, I think promoting toxicity on a game of about 8 concurrent players is probably not the best way of conserving the longevity of it. If I died to a super commando and got hit with the salty, I would probably uninstall the game. Imagine your parents buying you a brand new Plants vs Zombies game for Christmas, stepping down into Giddy Park, and you get instantly pulverized by a gnome boosted Brainium Basher calling you a pussy piece of shit. This is less of a character and more akin to a power trip you go on after school because no one wanted to sit next to you at the lunch table. At least they read their active player base pretty perfectly. Most Giddy Park lobbies just turn into Brainiums and Citrons fighting and seething and throwing PNGs at each other like a fucking Tomodachi life argument. I actually recognize some of the names of the people in Giddy Park from last time I regularly played this game over 3 years ago. Yes, people have been doing this shit for more than 3 years. This is what I meant when I said that there are some real creatures in this place. If you ever feel bad about your own life, remember that there are people that log on to BFN daily for over 3 years just to bully children in Giddy Park with the fucking Brainium Basher upgrade, the Gnome Boost, and some weird ass launcher glitch that propels them about 10,000 feet in the air. Like, look at them all! There's 3 of them! Sorry, mother, I can't do the dishes right now. This chomper called me the pickle emoji. I have to humble this kid immediately because I'm the best Battle for Neighborville player. Visual-wise, though, the skin they paired it with is genuinely amazing. Got that 1930s work whistle on him, because that's the sound you'll be making after he bashes in your brain for the 13th time. Of course, again, it's not mandatory to wear the skin when you use it, so this segment is probably a bit redundant. Another reason why I didn't use the Garden Warfare ranking system, because how the fuck do I grade the appearance of a yellow circle? Anyway, miserable character, extra disappointing considering how much I was gassing up Super Brains in the last ranking video. Only gassing up this thing gets is turning Giddy Park into a body odor biohazard whenever they enter. Look at all of these Brainiums. Go anywhere near that and you'd probably just fucking die from the smell.
No.
Like going near the elephant's foot. But before we move on, here's something positive. You can kill people by ramming them with your ass. That's all I have to say about that. Ho ho ho, brown coach, character class in Garden Warfare 2. Ho ho ho, how amusing. What a silly idea. What a concept. They'd never... This was the last thing they added before the game stopped getting updated. I appreciate that you wanted to give the community a parting gift before you abandon the game, but this gift is the equivalent of a small dead rotting animal your cat dragged in through the back door. Keep it to yourself. TV Head and its plant counterpart that we'll talk about very shortly are the Torchwoods of BFN. Just some random ass AI enemy slapped onto the character selection screen. Except it's not a playable boss or something cool. Like, come on, the Robo Soldier was right there, man. It's just some random ass low tier spawnable enemy. I mean, a playable brown coat is really funny, don't get me wrong, but maybe if it also wasn't designed in the same human suffering research facility they spawned Brainium Basher in, it might have been better received.
I want blue jeans.
You're getting slacks!
This is the laziest character they've ever put into any of these games, even beyond Twilight Chomper levels of slop. At least they recolored that thing. It actually feels like someone's first playable AI mod. You can tell that game was on its last legs when they're employing the fucking brown coats.
Oh, but purple's your bait. You've done that before, you hypocritical piece of human filth!
Yeah, but I'm not a AAA studio. This shit is triple F. You know when the professional game studios producing characters on the same level as a socially stunted teenager's Garden Warfare 2 mod? There's the fucking Redditor imp in it that maybe those leaves should have started falling months ago. This game even has the fucking pickle in it. Like, what is this thing's purpose? They made a whole new category for this thing. Swarm. Perfect descriptor. Just a swarm of bugs. And I ain't talking about the creepy crawly kind, because this thing is scuffed as hell. One of its upgrades is just permanently disabled because it was bugged and they couldn't be bothered to fix it. And for some reason, you can just straight up clone these things because they let you revive the drones? What? I feel like if you looked at the internal code of this game, your eyes would just catch fire out of sheer incomprehension, like you've witnessed a biblical angel. Oh, and speaking of the drones,
Why the fuck did they make this?
this is an inescapable 110 damage tiny hitbox spec that moves faster than everything else in the game. If you're a character with 100 health or less, you basically just get completely invalidated if one of these are on the enemy team. And you might think you can fight fire with fire, send a dandelion right back at them. But no, these characters get health upgrades. And if there's multiple of them, they get armor. They can just tank it. Instant death for thee, but not for me. Most TV head gameplay usually consists of hiding in one spot and sending out little hairy goblins that are, again, literally inescapable because what a surprise! For the low price of 2 upgrade points, you can equip the uninstall the game upgrade that makes this thing get to you faster than the amount of time they spent thinking of the logistics of implementing such a foul thing into the game. Also, that health upgrade just gives the drones more health as well. And the damage radius on these things is the most generous thing I've ever seen. And yes, the TV head is better than the wildflower in my opinion, because the TV head drones are much better. Dandelions are much larger and more floaty. These little imps are tiny, and if you aren't playing as one of the 4 characters that get one-tapped by this thing, then you get slowed down to a crawl after taking 110 damage. Was that necessary? What the fuck does the Yeti Imp even have to do with television? Also, this other ability, the overheated dinner, is just so buggy. Why does it sometimes just recharge immediately? I don't know if that upgrade was the problem. You should have just X'd the whole character like what you did to the Chomper that one time. I don't think anyone would complain. As for its design, there isn't any. It's just a random ass spawnable. Not even like a recognizable one. The TV head. Who the fuck is that? It doesn't even get any cosmetics, because this was hastily slapped together in probably less than a week. You literally cannot tell them apart from the ones you can spawn from the ground. At least the Torchwood was smaller than the Giga Torchwood. This character is so bad that it's making me say positive things about the Torchwood. I haven't even spoken about the stupid little respawn beacons. I love it when I smash this guy's TV in and oh, he's back again. Great! Here's another random ass mechanic this thing has. You get armor if you stand near other TV heads or zombie spawnables. So I guess the idea was to swarm the planets with a group of TV heads, but the only thing you're getting swarmed by is a group of Yeti imps, whilst all the TV heads just sit in a safe little corner scratching their asses. Also, they have a 50 damage melee attack with an upgrade that stuns you because this character just fucking sucks, man. It just genuinely fucking sucks. We were promised plenty of new classes in the updates, and we got this. But before we move on, here's something positive! I like the upgrade that lets you lob 2 grenades at people at once. You could just sneak up on people and one-tap them. It's really funny, and actually requires you to engage in combat instead of just sitting in the corner like a child on timeout.
Naughty boy!
Wildflower. This is literally just a TV head. Like, they're the same character. They're just the exact same. What do I actually say about this thing that I haven't already said about the TV head? Here are the differences between the Wildflower and the TV head. Difference number 1. Its gun has slightly more ammo, but it fires from both hands. Difference number 2. Instead of lingering on the ground and exploding, the grenade ability just blows up instantly, but it has less splash damage. Difference number 3. Its drone is larger and more floaty, and it doesn't freeze people. A whopping 3 gameplay differences. This is the only character the plants got in an update, by the way. Of course, the one character they decide to make available on both teams is the one that sits in the corner sending suicide bombers at you.
That guy took no damage. I hate this game.
They even have the same fucking upgrades. The only reason Wildflower is ranked above PvZ is because it looks funnier and the drone is slightly less annoying. Here's a good counter to the drones. Just fucking overheal everyone and they won't get one shot. Of course, this happens on the enemy team when I'm fighting them. What is this game's problem? This always tortures me. It genuinely has it out for me. Could always be worse. At least I'm not this guy who gets dragged into the fucking dark dimension. The only update character the plant's got, and it's a copy from a zombie one. Incredible. And yes, I know the iceberg lettuce was supposed to be added, but have you fucking seen this thing? A 200 health bull character that can spawn shields and stun you.
I think I'm good, thank you.
I'd say they would have shot themselves in the foot by adding this, but at this point I don't think there's anything left to shoot. But before we move on, here's something positive. The only positive I can think of that I haven't already said about the TV head is that its design, whilst ripped from a random enemy with no changes, well encapsulates the smug prickishness of this character. Acorn and oak. I find it really funny and also kind of sad that the only semblance of cultural relevance this game has ever gotten is an edit of this story mode cutscene of Oak screaming at a treasure yeti.
The power of 1 billion supernovas!
This is Neighborville's entire legacy in the eyes of the general public. Just wait until TikTok finds the story mode cutscene of the electric slide sniffing a big stinky fart. I'm sure that one will really do numbers. That'll get that door opening in no time. Don't let Acorn's placement fool you. We're out of the completely irredeemable slop section of the list, and we're now at the point where the characters have actual redeemable things about them. The gap between the Wildflower and the Acorn is like a fucking chasm, and yet I still don't really like this little shithead. We've basically gone from super triple F tier all the way to B tier. Screenshots from this game's development got leaked and we saw what Acorn looked like early, and I genuinely did not believe this was real because it looked like a Photoshop job. They basically just took an acorn, slapped a pistol on top of it, and grafted a weed's face to it. This thing just looks like the fucking Puss in Boots egg. Is the plan answer to the imp, small tiny character that can summon a big character. However, unlike the imp, who was some developers a tiny little punching bag during the game's development, Acorn is a very strong character. Probably the second most mobile character in the game, next to the Brainium bastard. Especially with this upgrade set. Could just jump around like a maniac constantly. Now, a tiny character that can jump around like a maniac constantly might sound really annoying.
Because it is really fucking annoying.
Now, how about we give this tiny character a health upgrade? This thing gets 100 health. This little thing. Oh, and because it's a defense character, it gets health regeneration upgrades as well. Ooh, yay. Basically, in order to kill an acorn that knows what he's doing, you just need to jump him. That's a lot of things in this game, to be honest. Which is why the higher health defense characters tend to do better, because they can just survive pretty much all of the insta-kills in the game. And because they were so hell-bent on making the average damage output of a BFN character less than a fucking wrestling star, the best tactic is to just sucker punch people in the nuts. Literally in this case. Acorn probably would be a hell of a lot more annoying if there weren't so many things that could instantly kill him, even with the health upgrade. In earlier versions of the game, Hardened used to give you 125 health.
But yeah, you know, the community backlash is what killed this game.
You can see this sucker punch strategy in action because when I want to play the little 75 health character, of course there's multiple bloody TV heads on the enemy team. How the fuck did that even reach me? Completely unrelated, but I don't think I have ever come off of this game feeling happier than I did before turning it on. Despite that fucking atrocious bullshit, this character is pretty good at harassing Brainium bashers like trying to kill a sparrow with a steam train. I just really dislike fighting acorns. I don't know if I'm just getting old, but trying to fight them is just genuinely disorienting. It's like trying to fight one of them pop-up rockets, one of the butterflies from the elephant. just constantly getting launched into the stratosphere. It's basically just a troll character. Sometimes I'll just put a sap trap on someone's face and leave it there as a power move. But Oak though, I like Oak, which is probably surprising that I like a playable tree stump character in a PvZ shooter. That 400 health might look horrifying, but his hitbox is so massive that it doesn't really matter. My main issue is how easy it is to just leave, which is a common theme with these bottom place characters. At any point, the Acorn can just skedaddle on out of there when he's about to die. Now, he does retain the percentage of health the wise old tree had, but for me at least, I could escape most times pretty easily. Oak only takes 20 seconds to recharge as well, and yet again, he can just regenerate all his health back in 5 seconds. Also, because there is 0 damage drop-off, you can just snipe with the 400 health character with 2 health regeneration upgrades. I'm starting to miss Captain Cannon as well. Also, this thing can team up with other Acorns. Isn't that exciting? The Acorn turret is the 2nd highest damaging weapon on the entire plant team, which is really funny. Only issue is that it kind of just makes you a sitting duck at the mercy of some random ass Oak player. Like, this brainlet just dragged me into the enemy spawn and died, left me at the mercy of crazy Joker. And there's another one doing it again. Get out of the enemy spawn. It's like riding in a carriage being pulled by a deaf and blind horse. I guess if you're playing with a coordinated group of friends, it would be fun, but I think if I asked my friends to play this with me, they'd cut me out of their lives. Team up was a fun idea, I guess, but honestly, I think it would be better to just have 2 Oaks running around rather than 1 Oak with a little tumor on it. But before we move on, here's something positive. There used to be a glitch where you could just... They should have kept it. Cactus! Yeah, I don't really like what they did to the cactus in this game, if you couldn't tell. You can't push people around with drones anymore, and you can't place nuts everywhere. Why not? Imagine how funny it would have been to parry a Brainium Basher with a Tornat. The propeller is probably better for a sniper to reach higher places, but I don't care! I want the Tornats back! What is the point of a PvZ shooter if I can't entomb a walnut in an Iron Maiden? They even made the pickle its own separate entity. They basically just turned her into the future cactus. She can charge up her shots to deal 99 damage. However, unlike the future cactus who has a grandiose charge up effect and a giant blue death beam when she fires, cactus just shoots a green line and a lens flare PNG. Why do the primary weapons in this game either take a decade to kill anything or just drop people immediately? Apparently this is straight up just a character from Overwatch. I don't know, commenters will have to back me up on this one. Calls her the Widowmaker, 'cause I want a bloody divorce! Apparently Brainium Basher and Citron's giant shield were also concepts ripped from Overwatch. I haven't actually played this game, but every time I hear, oh yeah, this character, you know, he came from Overwatch. It's the most asinine thing to ever touch this series. Anyway, this just makes her, yet again, another sucker punch character. That's what I'm calling him. Just the character that kills you instantly. Fighting future cacti in Garden Warfare genuinely sucked. Why did they make every single cactus in the game able to do that? I mean, it only deals 99 damage instead of 104, so all zombies except Shocker Imp can kind of react, I guess. But it's just the principle, man. It's the principle. At least they brought back the Goat's Bandit Cactus as an unzoomed weapon. But why does this last resort ability for a sniper character hit the same amount of damage as the Foot Soldier? Why is a sniper character hitting harder than the assault characters at the range it's supposed to be weak in? Also, the cacti bots just cannot charge their weapons, so they do like 4 damage at range, and if you get near them, they will just blend you into meaty chunks with their primary weapon in about a second. Also, there's an upgrade that just lets her shoot about 2 to 3 charge shots instantaneously. Now that might sound fucking awful to play against, but it used to let you shoot 8 of them. There's an upgrade build called Calibrating and Looting that exists today that increases the charge rate of Cactus's primary weapon when you land a fully charged shot and gives Cactus ammo back when she gets a critical vanquish.
And the charge time doesn't reset until you reload. So you know what that means.
Theoretically, you could just spam fully charged shots and kill everyone instantly. I take it back, this character is worse than future Cactus. Also, Potato Mine seems to be a lot stronger in this game. His explosion radius is a lot larger. I won't complain though, that's good. Yet another Brainium harassment ability. Until they realize that Turbo Twister can just remove mines with no danger. But you can get them sometimes, especially with the Bon Voyage upgrade that just shits out a mine when you use Petal Propeller. Can catch people off guard with that one. Also, they changed the way she speaks. I liked her little gremlin voice. Now she just sounds like an exam invigilator. Sometimes she just says, okay. What is that upgrade? Why does it blot out the sun? They won't add range damage variants, but they will add the fucking Mario Kart blooper to this game. Also, even though you can't push people with them anymore, the drones are a lot easier to control in this game, which is a double-edged sword because now they're about 10 times more annoying. I was just chilling in Giddy Park, and there's some dickhead hiding their drone inside of a balloon! Hey, you know, at least they're, yet again, really good at harassing Brainiums. But before we move on, here's something positive. I really like this Egyptian-themed costume. I found another person using it that made me smile a bit, which didn't happen much during these recordings. Captain Deadbread. Yet again, Deadbeard is straight up just copying the Cactus. Got this new anchor ability, that's pretty cool. Improvement over that useless cannon. And the shotgun, instead of giving you a nice, clean, readable damage number, now just puts 2s and 3s on your screen. Why does it do that? I get they wanted to make the shotguns actually shoot more than one projectile, which is fine, but in Garden Warfare 2, which is what they built the game off of, there is a tick box called Group Damage that shockingly groups the damage so you can tell how much damage you actually do. I'm trying to kill people, and it brings up a page from a paint-by-numbers book. I want to shotgun blast pea shooters in the face, not colouring a picture of a Stegosaurus. I think that would have been more enjoyable than this match anyway, because there were 2 Citrons, a caffeine-addled chomper, and about 20 AI bots. The zoomed weapon is literally identical to Cactuses, so just apply everything I've said about that to this. They added a second future Cactus to the game. This game's fucking crazy, man. Also, it gets an upgrade that stores a fully charged shot when you use anchors away for some reason, like that one Cactus upgrade. Except instead of lasting 2 seconds, it just lasts until you shoot it. Imagine if future Cactus could just permanently keep a fully charged shot after placing down a taunt with 0 movement restrictions. I know I said I like the upgrade system in the intro, but I changed my mind. A lot of them do barely anything, and then some are just obscenely overpowered. That's literally the fucking same as variants. But at least when I saw an Agent P on the enemy team, I knew to get my affairs in order. Whereas with these things, I just have to bloody guess. Also, there's this really obnoxious upgrade build. That's a fucking surprise, isn't it? Where you can just go at the speed of light in the barrel, which basically just turns Deadbeard into a pseudo-Yeti imp. Good luck trying to outrun this. Barely even got to use it, because the zombies are spawn camping again. Oh my god!
Look at that thing! That horrible thing! Look at it there! Disgusting creature!
Also, the parrot is here. It's yet again easier to control, and it's more annoying than in Garden Warfare 2, and you could cluster bomb people. But before we move on, here's something positive. They didn't change Deadbeard's voice like they did with the Cactus. Chomper! Chomper is not at the bottom of the tier list? Huh? You're telling me they actually improved a character from the previous game? Because now, instead of being useless but annoying as hell, it's now not useless. but annoying as hell. A whole different breed of annoying as hell. In Garden Warfare, most Chomper gameplay consisted of killing one person and instantly dying. A miserable character to play as and against. But in this one, instead of instantly dying, it barely dies at all. I don't know what genius at PopCap thought it would be a good idea to give the Chomper a 40 damage ranged weapon that can be upgraded to 50. I'd say get out of the kitchen, but at this point the entire fucking street is burned down. Giving Chomper a ranged weapon is fine, and it was honestly necessary for him to not just get bullied constantly, but at least make it have damage drop off.
Oh, no, we can't have that, because we need to add some
Stupid projectile drag mechanic. Okay, actually I'm lying, we didn't add that.
It's not true.
Was this game balanced by an actual set of scales? Damage drop-off would solve so many of this game's issues, because you wouldn't have Oaks and Chompers sniping at you, and then you could make the assault classes deal more damage than the bloody...
No.
Also, remember that one upgrade build that makes Citron regenerate all of his stupid health points in 5 stupid seconds? Well, look who's back to cause more trouble, you stupid, mucky, disgusting, filthy thing. 3 upgrade points instead of 4. My favorite upgrade build is the one that just adds Hot Rod Chomper back to the game. And I ain't talking about no Hot Rod Chomper upgrade. I'm talking about Speedy and Dirt Bath. Look at this. It's a good thing the average Timmy Chomper new player uninstalls the game before they unlock these upgrades, otherwise suicide Chompers might have been a big problem. They also made it so Burrow's hitbox is taller now, probably because the jump height in this game is over double that in the previous ones, so you can just... The footage just speaks for itself. Like, I don't even know what to say about that, to be honest. I don't know why they made it so you could grab people from ledges. Isn't that like the main counter of Burrow? Do you know what does counter Burrow, though? Calling in your mech. Though I guess having a giant robot fall on your mouth would shatter every tooth the Chomper has and crush his skull, so good immersion. Also, Goop might be one of the most disappointing things in this game. At launch, it was completely fine. It was a much, much better iteration of it than the abhorrence it was in Garden Warfare 2. It acted like some kind of chomp virus, where it would deal ticks of 1 damage to the enemy team. Wasn't much damage, but it stopped the enemies from regenerating for a while, which made it very good at weakening groups of zombies. Basically just a much better version of toxic damage from Garden Warfare 2. And they made it deal 90 damage over time in the same update that added the Brainium Basher. So now if Imp even touches that green gas, he just fucking dies. Unless you run into a kind wizard or a scientist in time. And even if you aren't Imp, then you're left on a very, very low amount of health. I shouldn't have to explain why slowly dying of a disease in the middle of a multiplayer shooter isn't very fun. This is like fire damage on steroids, and I despise that mechanic in Garden Warfare 2. Also, at one point they messed up something with Chomper, and it just had an infinite rate of fire. So they had to remove him from the game. No. That is genuinely hysterical.
Get out the game, Chomper. No one wants you here.
What's even funnier is that you could tell just how bad the melee hit registration is in this game, because you could just do like 10 billion damage to someone and they just walked it off. Speaking of things they messed up, in the last update they made the Vampire Spikeweed upgrade trigger when Spikeweed is destroyed, which is fine, but they fumbled it somehow, and now this effect triggers regardless of whether you have the upgrade or not. So you just get health whenever your Spikeweed is destroyed. Spikeweed is a bit mid in this game, which is 100% for the best. No issue with that. But now because of this bug, its main purpose is just to die. No. Like when I see a Brainium, I toss a couple of Spikeweeds at my feet to counter their stupid little spin jitsu attack. But before we move on, here's something positive. This is the first time Chomper has ever been useful in a shooter game rather than a cheap gimmick. Ever. So well done, Chomper. You've earned some time in the spotlight. My guy was so good in this game that they had to put him down. I should clarify that he's back now, though. If you couldn't tell, like it's only a temporary thing. Engineer. Now, Engineer in Garden Warfare didn't have the most thought-provoking gameplay and wasn't the pinnacle of skill expression, but they straight up just fucking lobotomized him in this one. Like, he might be the most insentient character to use in the entire franchise. All you have to do is go to a place, put your turret down, and then just hold down the fire button. Because they made the turret give Engineer infinite ammo and increase his rate of fire if you stand near it. His projectiles, instead of blowing up instantly, just bounce along the ground. If you spam these in a choke point, then there is nothing the enemy team can do about it. You can just turn it into a ball pit. Look at this horde of engineers in the Turning Point shed. Do you think they call it Turning Point because it makes people want to turn off the game? Also, the turret is, as the name suggests, a turret, so it shoots you, which is another thing to worry about if you want to kill an engineer who, much like that bastard Orange, is extremely agile when sprinting, and even gets an upgrade that makes him jump higher and move faster when he takes damage. You combine that with the speed panel ability, and Engineer can be quite a bastard to take down. I'd go on, but I literally don't have anything else to say about him. He's such a boring character in this one. Can't even build teleporters anymore. I guess he's better as a support character, but why would you bother helping out these ungrateful wretches on the zombie team when you can just buff yourself? I appreciate that they tried to make Engineer more unique than in Garden Warfare 2, where it's just a fat, balding pea shooter. Was a good concept trying to make him more support-oriented, but maybe it should have stayed as a concept. Also, whilst the bouncing projectiles are a cool concept, maybe if half the turf maps didn't have the same layout as the bottom floor of a shopping centre, it might have been a good mechanic. Like, look at this. You can just fire projectiles over this sign and completely shut down an entire area of the map for the plants, with little you can do about it unless you go right to their spawn. Can tell he's a construction worker because he just stands there whilst he closes off roads for months at a time. Horrifically thought out character. But before we move on, here's something positive. The only reason Engineer is up this high is because of this upgrade that lets you knock people away when you're sprinting. Very enjoyable to just kick people around like a secondary school bully. Pea Shooter. Whilst the Pea Shooter has definitely been dethroned as the best plant character in the game, he's still not to be taken in light regard, because they actually buffed him.
Kind of.
Firstly, they increased his splash damage, which is fine, I guess. Makes him better at dealing with the cowards of Neighborville, like, why don't you just die? They also added a better version of Hyper to this game. Why would you do that? Now it's called PvZ, which gives Pea Shooter a rate of fire boost when he uses it as well. I think the only reason this ability doesn't feel as busted as Garden Warfare 2 Hyper is because Electro P was killed. You can also hover with it, but because of the stupid AI backfill, you just get shot out of the sky. Dying to a bot in this game is one of the most unsatisfying things ever. It just feels like you've been mugged. Also, like I mentioned in the intro, there is an upgrade for PvZ that instantly resets the timer to full when you damage someone. So you can just stay in it forever? Yes, that's right, they added infinite hyper to this game, which sounds as pleasant to fight against as a collapsing desk. I think Pea Shooter has the most baffling upgrades in this entire game. Some of these are just so conceptually just wrong. They're just wrong. How did they make these past, like, the idea phase? Why does Pea Shooter get party time? It's not even party time, it just gives you fucking Reddit karma with zero music. Party's about as lively as an average match in this game. Pea Shooter didn't even have a party variant in Garden Warfare 2, and it doesn't even display a legendary meter. Also, there's Homing Pea. Homing Pea? Homing Pea? They gave the Pea Shooter an aimbot. I'm going to cry.
Oh, people really hated that Rose character in Garden Warfare 2. Oh no, why don't we add
Homing onto the character people hated even more. That'll really boost the sales up. It's been nerfed to complete unusability now, so, you know, it's fine, I guess. But the fact that they even thought this was a good idea in the first place just really says it all. Last Ditch is such a stupid upgrade. Your last shot, instead of doing 34 damage, does 90 damage! There was a character like this in Garden Warfare 2, but the Zen Cactus firstly indicated how many bullets it has left, And secondly, it didn't do 9p damage. So now, seemingly at random, a pea shooter can fire out a nuclear bomb. Can you imagine if variants were still in the game? There's also reload Gatling, which, as long as you get crits, makes P Gatling never ever run out ever. There's this one objective where you have to protect the pickle, and you can just shred these poor gargantuas in about 20 seconds.
What the fuck?
I like how Brainium Basher is just this Pibby Glitch EXE horror entity that just fucking sends Giddy Park deep into the abyss when it shows up. This is actually a subtle metaphor for the quality of the franchise when this game showed up. But before we move on, here's something positive. I like how it looks like a Funko Pop figure in this game. Hang on a minute, that's not a positive at all. I fucking hate that. It looks like a bloody fidget cube. Okay, here's something actually positive. Agent P and Electro P aren't in this game. Plasma P got turned into a Fortnite super style. Rock P got turned into an emote. And Lure P got turned into a hat. And I really like his running animation. He looks like a unicycle that's falling over. Torn apart. Rose used to be one of, and I kid you not, the free plants that didn't have an insta-kill ability. And Nightcap being here is pushing it since Fung Fu annihilates almost everything in the game in under a second. Anyway, they made it so she has one now. And it's an insta-kill ability that has homing. This game is simultaneously the most miserable and funniest thing ever. Every time I hear someone talking about this game, it's always, oh, this game had so much potential. Think of the potential that BFN had. We could have potentially had more characters. Oh, the new ops, imagine the potential of that. Oh, that burger you paid for had white mold inside of it, but potentially wouldn't have had if they chose a different bun. That's all well and good, but now I have a moldy game. Just one more update, guys. That's all it takes. This was something they added in an update. Thanks. I mean, it's not that bad. You just have to do support things to charge up the big friendship blast. Like, revive people, stand next to them with Enigma, Jinx, go to fire and kill people. So encouraging support in the team game, that's okay, it's a solid 7 out of 10 concept. But now you just have to look in someone's general direction, jinx them, and they die. Apparently this is supposed to be good against the Bosnian bartender, but... What the fuck even happened? He just fucking shitted an old triple at me.
Shut your mouth.
Giddy Pot could have been so good, man. Think of the potential it had.
I'm gonna fucking shoot myself.
Falling Apart Rose is probably the least played thing in this game, and I can see why. It's a mediocre legendary upgrade on a mediocre character that takes up 5 upgrade points. But before we move on, here's something positive. I already mentioned the encouraging support thing, so that's positive. I like the costume. Very nice. I wasn't wearing it when I was playing as it, but it's there. You know, it's there. It's good. It's a good costume. If we commit the heinous crime of comparing this game to Garden Warfare 2 again for a second, if the Brainium Basher is the Hot Rod Chomper of BFN, and Citron is the Electropy of BFN, then the 80s action hero is the Super Commando of BFN. A lot more of a skill ceiling than the other two, but if there's someone who can aim on the enemy team, you're done! Also, they both have bows and infinite ammo. Tried to hide it with the Super Commando by giving him a really short reload time. Not this guy though, it just straight up just says infinite on it. No overheat or anything. Can just fire constantly. All you need is a bit of bow mastery and a good leg day, and you can just obliterate an entire lobby. Won't see that in this gameplay, obviously. If you thought my aim on a PC game was horrible, try see me aiming with a fucking stick. I'm just not good at these games anymore. I'm completely washed at Plants vs Zombies Battle of Naysby. This character's just kind of weird, to be honest. Like, his whole mechanic is tagging people with this big wide burst of projectiles, which adds a little yellow thing on the person's name that lets him see where you are at all times. Is he shooting tracking microchips at people or something? Then if you have 3 of these tags on someone, you can use Cant Missile and they just... they just die. Shockingly, there's an upgrade that makes someone instantly get 3 tags on them after 1 critical hit, because why did I decide to make this video? Even an upgrade that makes Cant Missile fire even more rockets, so absolutely 0 chance of survival. By the way, when I was trying to get footage for his upgrades, the game just crashed. Did the submarine implode? Cant Missile is kind of bullshit, maybe. There's a bit of counterplay. You could just quickly run behind cover, and healing someone will just remove all the microchips off of them. So of course the great Neighborville poltergeist afflicts me once more with its nefarious curses, and the game decides to spawn 2 sunflower AI bots when I was recording this. And guess who just invalidates it completely with the press of a button? Stupid Orange! However, sometimes it just doesn't work at all. That's why they call it Cant Missile, because it can't fire any fucking missiles. So you can either gamble with Cant Missile or use the upgrade set that just kills everyone, because it lets you fire off like 2 charged shots instantly whenever you kill someone. And then there's the rocket ride, which makes you ride a rocket. How does this glitch even happen? It's supposed to be coding lines, not fucking snorting them. This flying glitch got fixed on the Switch version, by the way. They straight up just could not be bothered to put this on any other version. It's not that overpowered, obviously. You're basically a giant floating target, but minding your own business and being shot in the face by someone in lower Earth orbit is a little bit annoying. But what isn't annoying in this game? Also, I did this by complete accident. I was just trying to get on this roof, and the game just suspended me in midair. This happened to me again when I was trying to get this rotten cactus, and I died because of it. So yeah, this is kind of a weird amalgamation of gimmicks that are all just mostly pointless, because he can do 75 damage by charging a shot. Wait a minute. This is just a future cactus again! There's just 3 future cacti in this game! Also, I'm starting to think that the sprinting in this game, causing people to get away from any encounter almost scot-free every time, is actually not purely because of sprinting. Every character has some bloody dash or a leap or a hop, skip and a jump. This guy has the dynamite dodge, which lets him evade attacks and escape and reposition himself. Also, there's the upgrade that just makes him go even further. These sorts of abilities always recharge in about 10 to 15 seconds, by the way, so almost everyone has got one of these at the ready to press the instant they take 1 point of damage. Why does ATEEZ need one? He's got 150 health, and he can 1 or 2 shot most characters in the game. He doesn't need that as well, you greedy little git! This design's pretty cool though, this ATEEZ action hero. This is why they should have had variants, so he could have had like the 40s action hero, or the the action. Sometimes his ragdoll bugs out if he dies in midair, and it looks like they've hung him. Sprinting animation's kind of ass though. He looks like he's slipping on ice, like a lizard on a smooth surface. But before we move on, here's something positive. My favorite cosmetic set for him is the bold rainbow ATEEZ. Fitting for the month of June. Actually, wait, it's July now. Never mind. Sorry, ATEEZ. No pride for you, just wrath. We're making you wear the blooded piss skin now. Foot Soldier. Nowhere near as annoying in this game as he is in the Warfare, because he just does less damage. They even toned down the ZPG a bit. Now it only does 175 damage instead of... Wait a minute, now Citron can fucking tank it.
Of course he can. Why wouldn't he be able to do that?
This was probably done so he doesn't just delete Oaks instantly, but put that up to 200 right this second. Actually, no, better idea. Drag that Orange's health right down, because now Citron is the only other plant in the game to not get one-shot by ZPGs. Soldier does get this upgrade that makes ZPG accelerate to the speed of light and give you no chance to dodge, so he's not completely off the hook. Another annoying upgrade he has is one where he just attaches gas to you and blinds you, but that one's really funny, so I'll allow it. And then there's Rapid Fire, which lets you actually deal decent damage to people. Like I said earlier, where normally this guy has the same damage output as the cactus's unzoomed primary weapon. But if you want to use rapid fire and increase it, there goes 4 entire upgrade points. This upgrade was so oppressive in previous patches that they basically butchered the soldier's primary weapon to make it not broken. This is probably why the Z1 Assault Blaster has more bloom than are better flowers in this game. If that reticle was any wider, they'd have to put it on weight loss medication. Have you considered just replacing the upgrade with something else? Like, you don't need to just completely castrate the entire class.
Or adding damage drop-off instead of making the weapons all fucking shit!
Rocket Jump is also omnidirectional in this game, so instead of launching you where you look, it launches you where you move. So he's basically a shy and weak version of the Garden Warfare foot soldier, which is an improvement in the sense that now he doesn't take up 90% of the enemy team composition. But that did leave the gate open for some things far, far worse to take his place. But at least it's not Super Commandos again for the 3rd time in a row. Unrelated, but when I tried to play as the soldier, the game just kept sending me into lobbies where I couldn't swap to zombies. What do you mean the teams are unbalanced? What are the bots there for then? There were like 2 active lobbies and the other one was filled with high ranks. That still wouldn't let me play on the zombies.
They had Foxy the Pirate Fox. What was I supposed to do against that?
You either get the empty bot lobby or the high-level BFN esports lobby where there's an all-star being fondled by a wizard and a scientist. Soldier's design has yet again been slightly changed between games. Now he has the Balatro pear build on him. To be honest, I don't really like the zombie designs in this game. They look like the background sloth characters in Ice Age. If I got ZPG trick-shotted by Uncle Fungus, I think I would just end it all. And talking about ZPG jump shots, they make it so you get slowed down in midair when you use ZPG now to encourage doing them, but it always just throws me off. I haven't spoken about it yet, but aim assist in this game is absurd. I did not move my right analog stick at all, and it just locks onto them. If you spam the zoom button, you basically get what I can only describe as a free aimbot hack that would put a Bitcoin miner on your computer and send your personal details to a divorced man in Uruguay. Is very inconsistent, obviously, and can actively hinder you sometimes, but it's very noticeable with this character.
Yeah, sorry, Jimmy. That cord was rabid. It needed to be put down.
But before we move on, here's something positive. Sprinting animation's really good. He just gets dragged around by his rocket like what they were doing to Woody in Toy Story. Genuine round of applause for PopCap's animation team. Imp! The punching bag of BFN. Like a desk in a rage room the devs would take out their anger on because EA's marketing team gave this game less attention than Brainium players get from their parents. Almost every single plant in this game has a way to just instantaneously one-shot Imp. There are a whopping 15 abilities, weapons, and upgrades that just kill Imps instantaneously. To show this to you, I'm bringing out my beloved second PS4 account, Chungali Bungus, who will kindly demonstrate the woes of the downtrodden Imp class.
Apparently, every time I kill someone in this game, they see Crazy Dave naked in a bathtub.
So Imp is killed in one hit by Beam Bomb, Last Ditch, Burrow, Goop, Swoop Slam, Blue Blazes, Shuck Shot, Husk Hop, Super Set Trap, Spike Shot, Potato Mine, Spin Dash, Spin Dash. What? Apparently it leaves Imp on 1 health, despite the fact that I have footage of me literally killing Imps from full health. Is Citron not putting his all into it? I know he's just a wee lad, but, well, you said it yourself. Why the fuck did they write this line of dialogue? Falling apart. Dandelion. And finally, Bloom Boom. What is going on? Does Private Play have some weird damage reduction thing? Is Chungali Bungus being blessed by a higher power? Whatever. Basically, every plant except for the sunflower and nightcap can just kill Imp with the push of a single button. And nightcap might as well be there because if an Imp gets caught in Fung Fu, I think its corpse would become mutilated beyond recognition in under a second. A lot of abilities in Garden Warfare 2 also one-shot Imp, but I found that happening much less to me in that game because not only do abilities take longer to recharge, but Imps could also fight back. Not only was he not stuck with this dogshit water pistol ass gun with so much recoil that it feels like holding a small agitated dog, but you could also disable most of these abilities if you chuck down a gravity grenade, which is also much weaker in this game. Not only is it minuscule, but most characters can use their plentiful "I'm going to leave the confrontation" button to just escape from it, which is an improvement. We all hate stun mechanics here, but at that point, couldn't you just give the Imp an ability that's actually useful? Like I was complaining about the overabundance of mobility options in this game, but doesn't have that. Imp! Acorn gets 2 dashes and a cartoon springboard, and the Imp just gets a crappy little double jump. The Z-Mech isn't that bad though, it feels a little less strong than it did in Garden Warfare, but so does everything in this game. Also, you straight up just cannot die inside of it. If mech gets destroyed, you just leave unharmed. So not all doom and gloom for the Imp. Most Imp gameplay consists of farming the Mech Hunter upgrade and going apeshit with its staggering 81 DPS. You can also use Z-Mech as a thermonuclear bomb in this game. I think Mech is fine, it's just that the Imp itself is just kind of bad. As I was saying earlier, Citron just invalidates Imps. There's nothing they can do against them. So naturally, when I step foot into Giddy Park as an Imp, there's some knobhead with the gnome boost. Can't believe a Brainium Basher actually improved the Giddy Park experience for once. Also, massive shout out to this pea shooter whose name is just an entire novel. Okay. I think the only kind of unfair thing the Imp can do outside of Z-Mech is using these 2 Imp Kata upgrades to eviscerate most characters before they can even react. But I won't hold that against him because he needs it. He deserves it more than anyone else. And like I said in the Citron segment, which is like over an hour ago at this point, bloody hell, they nerf this poor little man so often and constantly buff the character that hard counters him. The only reason Imp is up this high is because I feel sympathy for him. They wander around Giddy Park like a toddler that's lost its mum in an Asda. But before we move on, here's something positive. He is no longer the most puntable looking character in the game. I want that acorn buried in the ground until winter. Why does he kind of look like, Hello Neighbor? This whole game kind of has the Hello Neighbor aesthetic. I adore the Super Brains logo on this cape though. That's clever. Got an entire brand now, which is good because he can afford all of the reparation funds. Because the shadow of the Brainium Basher is weighing on his soul. Super Brains would not be getting past the Hall of 2 Truths in this game. They dragged my goat through a meat grinder full of mud. The actual real Super Brains is inoffensive as a character though. I mean, he can still do that typhoon nonsense, so he's on thin ice. Definitely another class where it's the upgrades that make them completely unbearable. Although some of his upgrades are downright abysmal, like Hero's Moment costs 4 entire points, which is almost as much as the fucking Brainium Basher and twice as much as Typhoon. And what does it do? 15 health when you hit someone with Hyper Jump Thump. There's also this upgrade that spawns a gas cloud when Super Ultra Ball lands. No way of telling that it's gonna do that, by the way. Could have at least made the Ultra Ball green or something. It's not even that good, and it still, yet again, costs more than Typhoon. Or this upgrade that gives you a mind-boggling 4 health every time you hit someone with Turbo Twister. That also costs more than Typhoon! Also, if you use Reach and Speed Bag, Super Brains just bugs out and does that. Yeah, instead of a beam, Super Brains has the iconic Ultra Flying Fist, which can be charged up for a big 70 damage punch to the face. Massive improvement over that dogshit beam. People complained about Nightcap in Founders Edition, but Super Brains was on another level. This fist did 80 damage for a start, and the splash damage from Ultra Ball did 75 damage, which instantly killed Nightcaps. Also, Super Brains gets this actually reasonably healthed shield. Some reason if you use a speedy upgrade with it, then Super Brains goes faster than when he's sprinting. Also, this upgrade, that every character in the game has, by the way, costs 3 points, which is more than... Also, for some reason, when I was playing as Super Brains, this random Snapdragon started shitting on the kill camera. Don't know what I did to piss him off, but even in the next game, he was defecating right next to me. What did I even do? Snapdragon's really had it out for me as Super Brains for some reason. I was just standing there and this guy burns me alive.
You're a disgrace to the bold community.
Also, the melee hit registration in this game is actually just abysmal. But before we move on, here's something positive. Wrapping on back to that speedy upgrade shield thing, I really like doing this in Giddy Park. I just follow people around and I just stand there just to see their reactions. It's like a morality test.
And most of them fail.
Rose. Why do her eyes look like they're declaring independence from her mouth? Why are they so far apart? Like, hang on a minute, I'm not even gonna pretend to be upset about Rose's new design. She's always looked goofy, I don't care. Gameplay-wise though, she's definitely been improved from her Garden Warfare 2 counterpart, which is not that big of an accomplishment, but the support character has more support options other than stopping the zombies from playing the bloody game. Necroz's Jinx mechanic was turned into an ability, which is actually welcomed in this game because, yet again, the time to kill is a little bit high. Gotify is also a massive area denial tool now, rather than a panic button you press when a scientist gets within 2 parsecs of you. And Arcane Enigma makes people around you fast. Only thing she lost from Garden Warfare was the ability to build teleporters, and all of her variants. Ignoring all that though, my favorite way to play as Rose is by using this busted revive upgrade build. You can literally just walk into a group of zombies, start reviving a plant, enter Arcane Enigma, and there is almost nothing the zombies can do about it. So they all just have to sit there and watch as you resuscitate the Citron they spent about half an hour trying to kill. And the best part is that Super Savior pretty much instantly regenerates Arcane Enigma, could just chain revives, and the only way to stop it is to either cancel Enigma with Z-Elixir or knock them out of the revive circle. Notice the lack of footage of either of those things happening. In fact, the biggest hurdle to the strategy were people respawning before I could revive them. Even when they're on my team, the Citrons are ruining my day. But yeah, since most people want to kill people in the killing people game, and Rose is probably one of the worst characters to do that with, Rose is probably the least used class in the entire game. She's also not safe from the obnoxious as fuck upgrade curse. Like, this build makes Gotify last about half a day. This one makes Arcane Enigma that you enter instantly, by the way. At least the one in Garden Warfare 2 had an entrance delay, so you could kill her before she ran off. But with this upgrade, it also lets her regenerate all of her health. And of course, who could forget Time Snare on your homing primary weapon? It's a good thing no one plays as this character.
Also, fuck this challenge!
But before we move on, here's something positive. I feel like at this point I'm consistently saying positive things about the characters. I might as well keep the bit up. You can use Enigma on the Giddy Park launchers to fly over all the spawn campers. Don't know what you would do after landing. Everyone is just at spawn. Good luck trying to do anything to a Brainium Basher.
Kill yourself.
Nightcap. Nightcap got done absolutely horrendously by the updates in this game. In Founders, she was one of the very few characters to actually be able to kill people. So she was gassed up to be this multiverse level threat when she got hard countered by a super brain staring at her. Though maybe the tiny character that had a much more mobile double jump than Imp, that could also turn invisible in a version of the game where 90% of the character roster had the same killing power as a baby sea turtle. salt left a sour taste in the mouths of many.
Oh, and that.
Nowadays, though, Nightcap is a one-trick wonder. Equip uppercut and fleet-footed and just instantly kill everyone with Fung Fu, which is probably in a more unfair state than it was when people were speaking about her in the same vein that 19th century Londoners were talking about Jack the Ripper. Also, Uppercut isn't even that good. It's basically the plant equivalent of Typhoon, except Nightcap ain't moving like the Brainium Basher, and to make it actually usable, you need the fleet-footed upgrade as well, which is 6 entire upgrade points down the drain. I hope you like refreshing revive. Uppercut is pretty funny because they forgot to make the final bit of the attack where she knocks everyone away team dependent, so you can just knock members of your team away. That's genuinely incredible. She's supposed to be this stealthy assassin character, but for some reason they made her scream her head off every time she does anything. Also, the AI backfill bots basically invalidate her entire existence. It's like trying to sneak up on a natural disaster. Also, she has less than 110 health, so you know what that means. Her design was also leaked prior to the release of this game, and I yet again didn't believe it was real. But her design has grown on me since then. She looks like a novelty rubber you'd shove on the end of a pencil. Nightcap was a pre-existing character in PvZ Heroes, but in this game, she's been compressed, taken estrogen, and had her eyes removed. She is also the only character in the series to use projectile penetration in a way that isn't completely useless because her projectiles are wide. Much like Rose, there is actually a revive-centric upgrade build, which is really funny because you can just toss down the giant foreboding dark dome and it revives people faster. Apply some clear coating and she gets 50% armor whilst invisible, which actually allows her to tank a hit from those rotten Yeti imps that also make playing as this character a living hell. But before we move on, here's something positive. One of her emotes is the Fortnite default dance. Another one is just called inflation, a clever reference to the diminishing value of the PvZ coin. 30 grand for one item. You could buy a whole pack of them back in my day. Now 30 grand will get you one speech bubble that says some nonsense like dish soap. Steam Blaster. Speaking of super overrated characters, here's the Steam Blaster, which is basically the Chemist of BFN, if Chemist could be countered by pushing the left stick on your controller. I still think it's a decent legendary upgrade. Actually feels like a variant rather than an ability or a punishment. The Steam Blaster blasts steam at the plants, which acts like the lingering damage from Alien Flower or Park Ranger, but instead of slowly dying from a mold infection, it's flesh corroding gas that kills you in about 2 seconds if you aren't paying attention. There used to be a rate of fire exploit that let you unload the entire Steam Summer Sale upon someone in an instant, which much like the cap, left a sour first impression upon the player base. The reason why a character that shoots easily dodgeable close-range projectiles in the running away game isn't completely unusable is because Scientist's Warp is one of the best chasing options in the entire game. You can cut people off and gas them. When I was playing as it, I think I was having a miserable time. A real surprise, I know, because one of the notes I put down just said, asinine. But look at the amount of heal beams on the screen right now. That is trying to break down a brick wall with a pillow. Then a Grandmaster 5 Citron joined the game. When I was younger, I used to get really tilted at this game, but now I just stare at it in complete apathy. Anyway, good design, another steampunk legendary upgrade, harkening back to the old Warfare Scientist days of just ignoring your teammates and killing everyone. Solid 6 out of 10. But before we move on, here's something positive. I like how the match ended right before the Citron could kill me. No kill ding for you, you lup. Scientist. They saw that the Scientist and the Sunflower were kind of mediocre as support characters, so they went all in on it. Definitely went a bit overboard, but they tried. Support characters are really annoying in this game because they can out-heal the damage that most characters can deal. I don't really know why this guy is ranked that high when fighting against one makes me want to tear my skin off, but playing support in this game is actually kind of fun. The amount of nonsense you can pull off with this character is just insane. Like, look at me revive this person right in front of a pea-gatling. Or look at me revive someone whilst being eaten by a chomper. The Scientist retains his shotgun from Garden Warfare 2, and Oh, not the bloody paint by numbers thing again. Also, this is actually the only weapon in the game to have damage fall off, which is a good thing for a close range shotgun weapon to have. And what do you mean it's inverted? This close range shotgun does more damage the further the enemy is away from it. What? Was it to compensate for the shotgun bullets spreading out or something? Why even keep the shotgun at that point then? Just give him a different weapon. This game constantly tries to compensate for problems it creates and just makes characters more confusing to play as. How am I ever supposed to tell how much damage I'm doing with this thing?
I'm sick of this game. I'm so tired. It's just so many little things. You're gonna shut your mouth, made Garden Warfare free, and made as much money as you ever needed. But no! The kids they like Overwatch and they like the Fortnite now.
The only reason I even bought Garden Warfare when I was younger, instead of something like Call of Duty, was because my parents wouldn't let me play it. That was the niche you had. You can't make a baby game version of a game that's already for babies. We could have been on Garden Warfare fucking 5 by now if you... Also, Warp might be the most BFN ability ever. Just free instant I'm leaving buttons that make trying to secure a scientist kill really difficult, unless you shove an insta-kill up their ass. But considering that they often will be glued to more powerful zombies, and will also make those zombies not die because the heal spray is just so powerful.
I don't know where this rant was really going, to be honest. It just sort of ended. Like I didn't even conclude it. I was just like writing this with like steam in my ears.
Also, it gets this healing aura generator thing as well to fully heal himself. Just an overall, just a really annoying character, and it's in the top 10 characters in the game for me. I just don't really think that this game is like for me. If you could tell, like I don't really enjoy this game. Most PvP encounters are either dragged out to a painful degree or over in about half a bloody second. Are you okay? Well, I'm not because of this yellow brick.
You've saved me.
But before we move on, here's something positive. I like his design better in this game because he's got the gamer posture, the Jimmy Neutron turd cut, and the Timmy Turner teeth, which is a clever reference to how this character makes combat encounters last an entire power hour. Sunflower. Sunflower, much like the cactus, was also given a new voice in this game. But this one is funnier than the original because it makes her sound like a babbling infant. Other than that though, Sunflower isn't changed that much from Garden Warfare. She heals much faster, and the heal flower was shot dead, kind of, replaced by Sunny Side Up, which just turns her into the heal flower. Her weapon also makes stuffy flower noises in this one, which I guess fits her more whimsical nature that she has in this game. Instead of the wearing your mother's skin as a suit and smelling of burning deer flesh aesthetic she had in Garden Warfare. Much like the scientist, the Sunflower can also make her teammates almost unkillable. I paid 2 months of membership to PlayStation Plus so I could record footage for this game. But yeah, I think sunflowers in this game are really funny, so they get put in 8th place. They would get put higher if they weren't so goddamn annoying, but they were annoying in Garden Warfare 2 as well. The first character you see upon launching the game is a sunflower called Major Sweetie, who not only is characterized as this brutal war criminal, but during an update, they gave her this flamingo hat for a summer event, and just never changed it back when they stopped updating the game. So now she just has a flamingo on her head permanently. But before we move on, here's something positive. Shove upgrade is really fun. Basically, if a character gets an upgrade that knocks people back, they are automatically better in my eyes because that's the only enjoyment I get out of this game. Space Cadet. This is probably the most inoffensive character in the entire game. Like, she can be a bit annoying when on a fully docked space station, but what character wouldn't be annoying to have 4 of them in one place? Her design is one of the best in the game, just traveling around in a little UFO with a little Megamind brainbot-ass gun. Her primary weapon is really unsatisfying to use, though. It has homing, which, oh no, she's one of those types of characters. But no, it takes almost a second to lock onto someone to balance it. Again, with the scientist, I feel like at that point, just give her a normal gun instead of this gimmicky tripe. It's like trying to use Rose with 500 ping. Luckily though, this ain't her only primary. Got the space station with the triple burst 89 DPS beam, which would be a slightly above average amount of damage in Garden Warfare 2, but is the weapon with the highest raw unupgraded DPS in the entire game. On the zombies, which gets to almost 100 when you use the Space Force ability.
Also, I really like this big fuck-off laser that it has. That's a good one.
Her other abilities are also decent. Got the Big Bang Beam, which is basically a less damaging hit scan ZPG, which was utterly broken back at launch. I don't know how they managed to make it do thousands of damage, but whatever. Gravity Smash is a bit mid though. It's very easy to dodge and it sometimes just breaks. This game is about as polished as a lumpy piece of pumice. When I played as her, I went into Team Vanquish instead of Turf, and this was the most empty lobby I've ever seen. One other real human being and the rest were just bots. Also, Team Up is back, but it's better than Oak because it just adds health to the space station instead of making a small, low health character stand motionless at the mercy of the TV head. You can just pull up a shield or launch missiles and watch as the idiotic bot you've attached yourself to just fucking stand there twiddling its thumbs doing nothing. Have I told you how much I hate these things yet? Have I? I think I have. Team Up with the space station on split screen is kind of completely bungled. What is going on with the rocket? Why is there a second rocket flying near me? Even Bungus was affected by this. But before we move on, here's something positive. Space Cadet is the second character from PvZ Heroes to undergo hormone replacement therapy. Congratulations, I'm proud of you. Colonel Corn. He's a corn. Looking as clapped as ever. Corn is a victim of the great DPS homogenization they tried to pull in this game. About 80% of the characters in this game are all hovering around 60 DPS. What is the point of these categories then? Why are the defense characters dealing more damage than the characters specifically labeled as attack? Corn does get this ability called Butter Beacon in this game, which highlights enemies and makes them take more damage, which I guess sort of compensates for the lack of damage that he actually does. But it's like with the rapid fire thing, like you're just making him rely on something to make his primary weapon deal a reasonable amount of damage. Maybe they should have made it so only his abilities are affected and have him hit this much normally. Even with Butter Beacon on, he's still getting out damaged by the Citron, so it wouldn't have been that overpowered. Still, I think this is another case of BFN improvement, and not like a Monkey's Pool case, like the Chomper or the Healers either. Not perfect, obviously, because of the low damage, but Huskop doesn't instantly kill people anymore. AI Corns will sometimes just perform horizontal Huskops, but that's more of an issue with these cheating bastard AI bots they didn't need to put in the game rather than Corn himself. There is an upgrade that kind of adds Garden Warfare 2 Huskop back, but you have to directly hit people with it rather than just hit the space around them and it doesn't deal 1400 fucking damage. Despite all this uncharacteristic positivity, I hated playing as him because the enemy team composition was about as pleasant as the London Blitz. Fuck you mean move out? Is that how little damage this character does? Am I just a slight hindrance to these zombies? I know 60 DPS Samuel over here isn't piping up. But yeah, we're at number 6 on the list and I still didn't really enjoy playing as this character. But before we move on, Here's something positive. I like this emo corn NPC that just hangs out by the Giddy Park piano. The NPCs and just the non-multiplayer stuff in general in this game is just leagues better than the stuff in Garden Warfare 1 and 2. Still could do with some improvement, like Ops is atrociously boring in this game. I don't want to sound like an arrogant asshole. I mean, we're probably like 2 hours into me verbally kicking the video game equivalent of a hospitalized child, so we're past that. But I unironically enjoy loads of variants more because it has funny shit in it, like the tiny chompers in Head T-Tech. Honestly, they should have just went all in on the single player stuff. Game would have been much better received in my opinion. Oh wait, they were supposed to do that, but they fucking cancelled it. Great. That really worked out well for you, didn't it, Electronic Barts? Shogun Guard. This is the only legendary upgrade that I like more than the original. Even if it literally is just Commando Corn with a shield. They even have the same sounds. And not a Citron tier shield with half the health of a bloody Gargantuar either. A decent 75 health to block a couple Deadbeard shots. Or a Barney Gumble bar fight. It's a little bit underwhelming compared to the other legendary upgrades, but it's the one that feels the most like a variant to me. Which is probably why it isn't used very much, because it costs 5 out of 7 upgrade points for what is essentially a side grade to the Colonel Corn. Might have been ranked higher if it was either a lower cost or if it was just like a separate thing you equipped that didn't affect the upgrade points, but it isn't. Still ranked number 5 though. If the bar went any lower, it would be outside the observable universe. But before we move on, here's something positive. Best legendary upgrade skin? I don't like the reskin super style one you get for 100% prize map completion though. It looks like he's been vomited on.
As for the actual upgrade,
they really kicked the ball out of the park with the first one, kicked it a little bit with the next 2, and then filled up the ball with concrete for the last one. Electric Slide. Probably one of the most slept on characters in the entirety of Babble for Nabble Dabble. Consistently good damage, good at crowd control, decent abilities, just an all-round okay character, which is what this game needs. A unique take on the Disco Zombie class. Just going around on roller skates and shooting out bolts of lightning. Again, she has a little bit of asinineness because sometimes at random, she will stun you for like half a second. Yes, they added randomly afflicting stun mechanics to a multiplayer shooter. This is 4th place, by the way. I just really like the funky bouncer. Can you guess why? I'll give you 3 guesses. Actually, I won't do that. I'm just going to move on. Also, electric damage is very useful in this game. Not only does it deal a reasonable amount of damage instead of lightly grazing someone standing next to the person you're shooting, but it also makes Electric Slide one of the best oak killers in the game. Vaporize those disgusting nuts. Out of Fight is just a reheated energy warp, except it gets an upgrade that instantly regenerates all of her health when she uses it. Defibrillated, because this game makes me go into cardiac arrest. Disco Tornado is also there, which is a very okay ability. If you use the Maelstrom upgrade and warp home whilst using it, then you can kill your teammates.
Some guy was getting the no boost and doing this to me, and it was genuinely so funny.
But before you move on, here's something positive. If you remove her hair and glasses, she looks amazing. Top 5 character design in the entire franchise. Snapdragon. When I said the slide was in the top 5 character designs, this is in the top 4. You can make him look like he's coping with a rough divorce. I think they realized that fire damage was kind of annoying in Garden Warfare 2, so they basically just completely decimated it. Instead of tapping someone once and slowly dealing 25 damage to them, you now have a random chance to apply fire damage. Why is this happening again? Just do it how the ice characters worked, where it would just apply after a certain number of hits, not this gambling gobbledygook. Luckily, fire damage is kind of mid in this game. In Founders Edition, Snapdragon would heal zombies when they got set on fire because it was hard-coded to not drop a zombie's health below 15. I know Founders was notorious for having characters deal pitiful amounts of damage, but this is This is ridiculous. It just does negative damage. Snapdragon is another one of those I'm gonna kill you characters in the same vein as the Colonel Korn from Garden Warfare 2 with his I'm gonna kill ya abilities, like the homing 100 damage Fireball of Death, which is basically just a beefed up version of the Fire Rose's charge shot. That is probably one of the most buggy weapons in this entire game. I'd say that was extremely unfair, but I have less than zero sympathy for a Giddy Park Brainium Basher. I hope you trip over a paving slab. Also, it has Swoop Slam, a 150 damage slam attack that is also janky as hell.
I want to hit the 80s action hero, not do a kick-ass slide off this Hello Neighbor tree.
If you use it on a Giddy Park launcher, it just sometimes completely borks your animations. This is probably one of the most unpolished BFN characters in the game, and it's ranked 3rd place solely because it just looks funny. Like, if you evoke like the tiniest like amount of joy in me, it just automatically top 3 characters in the game. Because I have nothing else to talk about, I was testing out this glitch where if you just spam letters in the text-to-speech feature, the game just completely loses it and breaks down. Still more damage than he was doing in Founders. I talked to Major Sweetie and she said A0S hold, and the game completely soft-locked like in a really bad creepypasta. Trapped in Giddy Park until the end of time like bloody Ultimate Custom Night.
I will hold you here. I will keep you here. No matter how many times they burn us.
But before we move on, here's something positive. I really, really adore this image of the Founders Snapdragon character icon. Like, look at that. Look how happy he is. It's amazing. All-Star, probably the 2nd strongest zombie character in the game, right under Mr. Action Hero. All-Star's big-ass minigun still acts the same as it did in Garden Warfare 2. Relatively high damage, but you have to rev it up like a car before you use it. And whilst using it, you're less mobile, to balance out the fact that you're a 200 health character with a very powerful weapon. Tennis skills and spin class upgrade. 5 upgrade points and all movement restrictions are removed, and the weapon revs up almost instantaneously, which completely contradicts the entire downside of this character and essentially turns him into a better version of the foot soldier with 200 health. Yet again, the defense characters are better attacking characters than the actual attacking characters. This game is about as balanced as a burned sea salt.
But Purple Zombie, that sounds like a really fucking awfully thought out character. What possible reason could you have for placing him above the...
What's the character that people like?
Nightcap?
Nobody likes Nightcap.
Starstruck is the most fun upgrade in the game, and I will not be convinced otherwise. There is no greater joy than this. It knocks plants away and makes the shield recharge in about 5 seconds when you use it. This is the ultimate in Giddy Park harassment technology. Brainium has absolutely nothing on this. Just run up to someone, plonk a shield in their face, and watch them blow away. It's beautiful, it's harmless, and it's really funny. Of course, the Brainiums always swoop in to euthanize the person I'm toying with, but it's still fun to see how they react in the very short time they remain on this earth. I could talk about the sprint tackle or the imp punt, but I just don't need to, so I won't. But before we move on, here's something positive. This Winston guy is one of the best NPCs in this game, and the only competition he has is Monkey. Another positive is that one more character left and I'm finally done with this game. I can actually talk about things I like Pikmin, like Pikmin fans. Your Pikmin 1 enemy ranking video, I'm doing that next. Oh, but what about loads of variants?
What about you, shut the
So what is the least bad BFN character? A character so fun and awesome that their inclusion actually made me feel hopeful for the future of the game. And if things were different, could have been the start of a beautiful update cycle for this doomed shooter. The Wizard is my favorite character in Battle for Neighborville. This is a character I actively enjoy playing and seeing when I boot up the game. I don't know, this jolly old man running around on his little stick casting hexes and spells is great. Best implementation of the team-up mechanic. Instead of having to pollute the team with 4 of the same character, you can just hop on anyone with the wizard, which acts similar to the acorn turret, where you just ride on top of the character you've linked with. Except even better, because when you quote-unquote die, you just get kicked off and phased a bit. One of my favorite activities in this game is to just get on some random person and just observe what they do. Really see into the mind of a Battle for Neighborville player. It's like a bloody nature documentary. The Branium Basher patrols the skies, searching for his next meal. He spies a pair of pea shooters grazing in the narrow fields of Giddy Park. Easy pickings for an experienced Branium, but it seems the pea shooters have spotted him. If he is to eat tonight, he will have to act fast. Unfortunately for the pea shooters, the Branium Basher is the apex predator of Giddy Park, and with a swift strike, the pea shooters didn't stand a chance. The Branium Basher celebrates this victory before taking off once more. Genuinely a really entertaining mechanic, but of course, nothing's ever just entertaining in Neighborville. No, no, no. Always something written in fine print with this game, because you can use this ability to remove people from the game. Yes, you can straight up just delete people from Giddy Park using this character. Like, I was just doing a silly dance hall minigame, but no, this purple prick doesn't like that and banishes me from existence. Again, this is a glitch they fixed on the Switch version and didn't on this one. Now, whilst the character straight up banishing you from existence might be grounds for booting the wizard to the bottom of the tier list, no, I don't think this is out of malice. I think the wizard is doing something very kind. He is freeing the lost souls wandering the monotonous, same old walkways of Giddy Park. The wizard allows them to move on to the afterlife, arriving through that glowing door like an angel descending from the heavens. And thus my final act of this video was enacting this kindness upon my most loyal assistant. Farewell, Chungali Bungus. Enjoy an eternity of bliss and peace. But before we move on, here's something positive. I'm finally done with this stupid video. No more Citron, no more Branium Bashers, no more swarms, no more stupid ass upgrades, no more microwave lighting when I use split screen for some reason, no more AI backfill. Here's all the channel members. Here they all are. Thank the lot of you for supporting the channel. Thanks to all of you for watching. And if I see one comment complaining that I compared this game to Garden Warfare 2 too much, I'm just gonna kill you. Goodbye.